Hello there and welcome to this episode of Inside Southeastern Basketball with head coach Jay Ladner. I'm Alan Waddell and joined by the head basketball coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Jay Ladner. And Coach, thanks for being here. Our inaugural show together. I know you're excited about Southeastern basketball and the new task you have at hand here at Hammond.
I'm very excited, and I want to thank you and Todd Dunnington there for having me on and being willing to start our first program. It's important. Just having a coach's show is important for our development as a program, and we certainly appreciate that. I'm honored to be here today.
Well, just to give you, our fans, kind of a rundown on how this is going to go, we're going to do a weekly show. So we're going to give you all the highlights of all the Southeastern basketball games all the way until March. So it's going to be a long year, but it's going to be a lot of fun as we're going to bring you all that action right there to your television set. Well, Coach, I know it's been a tough off season. Your team has worked really hard to prepare for your style of play. You had to go out and hire a coaching staff. You had to get some different players in here. Your team has worked very hard, and we're going to take a look at some highlights coming up here. But talk about preparing for the season and the challenges that you had.
Well, we've certainly, recruiting obviously is the lifeblood of any program, and we've had so many things to do in terms of establishing a program from when we took the job in mid-April of this past spring. Well, obviously most recruiting for most schools for the upcoming year was already done. So we had to really, the first order of business for us besides obviously hiring a coaching staff is we had to try to complete a roster. So you have a very odd assortment on our team this year of Division I transfers, which we understood that. We have a number of guys that are very high quality young men that are sitting out for us this year due to NCAA transfer rules, a number of walk-ons, and then our returning players. So, trying to get those guys into a mix and get them focused on preparing for the season, great challenge, and then to begin recruiting for our future teams has just been really a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job. I'd like to commend our coaching staff, Coach Kyle Rohn, Errol Goff, Tyson Waterman on an incredible job. Our operations director, basketball operations, Mark Beeson, they have worked incredible hours of trying to get our program off. And, there are a lot of great things. And I'm so thankful to the people here at Southeastern, Coach Ortiz, Dr. Crane, for giving me the opportunity to come here as the head basketball coach, and then the incredible support and warmth that ourselves and all of our families have received here. I just can't say enough great things about Hammond in South Louisiana. We're very happy to be here.
Well, the Coach Jay Ladner era began right here at the University Center as the Lions took on Loyola. Let's check out the highlights. All right, Coach, well, first game of your career here at Southeastern, you have Loyola in town for an exhibition game at the University Center. I know your team was very excited to hit the floor for the first time.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. We've been beating up on each other since school started, and it was time to play somebody else for a change. And I know our players were excited about it. They've worked really hard there. I know that's coach speak, but they really have, and they've been very open to change. Obviously, they're getting to learn the coaching staff. We're just getting to learn our players and each other. There's so many new faces. So I really want to compliment their attitude and openness, willingness to change to a new system of play. And
you talk about your system. We can see in the highlights here against Loyola, your team really came out and started fast, playing up-tempo defense and really being aggressive towards the basket.
Well, that's the way we want to play, and certainly the job of a head coach is to put his team into the best style of play, best system of play that gives them the best opportunity to win. And sometimes that you have to vary that. With the way that we want to play, the way that we will eventually play here will certainly be a 94-foot game, very fast-paced, offensively and defensively. And a really exciting way to play. And a lot of players we found that we're recruiting want to play in those type of systems. There's more touches for everyone, more shots, and it's just a great way to play basketball, we think.
And you told me, when you got the job here, you said, hey, we're going to shoot a lot of three-point baskets. We saw you shoot a lot of threes to start out this game against Loyola.
No question. We got off to a great start. That's Devontae Upson. That was a ESPN top 10 highlight, or should have been anyway, whether it made it on there or not. A big-time shot. And you see Josh Fillmore there making a three. We really employ the three. We've got some guys that are good shooters that can shoot the three-point basket, and we like to take advantage of it.
Coach, I thought this was a great matchup, especially against Loyola, because they made it tight at one point, so your team had to respond and were able to stretch it back out there in the second half. But really it gave you a lot of different scenarios in this opener.
No question. Loyola, we have a little different philosophy probably than some on our exhibition games. We want to try to play some of our local NAIA Division II schools to give them an opportunity. It gives them a chance to make some money for their programs. But there's a little more interest in that. There's a little more interest, I think, in us playing Loyola than maybe playing maybe more of a lesser known Division II or Division or NAIA school. So Loyola being right down the road, there was a lot of interest in that. Some of our players knew the players on their teams and vice versa, and they're well coached. They've got a good team. In fact, at times their size, they look like the Division I team. We look like a smaller division team out there. Nice size, and the great thing about Loyola, they did so many things offensively. It forced us to prepare for a different style of play and a lot of different offensive actions.
Coach, we've seen a lot of the highlights. Number 10 there, Zay Jackson, a local product from St. Thomas Aquinas, went off, transferred back here to Southeastern, had a big game in the opener.
Zay Jackson, we feel like has got an opportunity. He hasn't played basketball in 2 years, one due to a knee injury, and then he was out 1 year. He's got a chance to be an all-league player before if it's not this year, certainly before he graduates here.
Lions win 97-81 against Loyola right here at the University Center. Before we get Coach's thoughts on the game, let's check out Zay Jackson and his comments post-game.
Yeah, we started the game off strong, and then we kind of got complacent with the lead, and we allowed them to come back. So at halftime we went in and we had a talk, and came back out strong, and then we allowed them to come back, break the lead down again, and then we had to dig in if we wanted to take the first win and give the crowd some excitement. Maybe we get more fans in the stands. I miss home. I ain't played in front of my family in about 4 years. I ain't played basketball in 2 years, so I actually just miss being out here and being able to play in front of, especially my family is big playing against your family in a long time. I was in Kentucky. It was hard for them to make it, so this was big time for me.
Coach, big win against Loyola, a great way to start your exhibition there. And Zay Jackson, a big game with 28 points.
Well, Zay's an outstanding player, and what the great thing about Zay is he's not only capable of scoring the ball, he's a great floor general. And the stat that really stood out to me is he didn't have a turnover either and played 39 minutes. Shows you what he means to our team in terms of running our show. A point guard in basketball is exactly the same position as a quarterback in football. So he's our Brian Bennett, so to speak.
All right, well, let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to show you highlights as the Lions took their show on the road to take on Oklahoma State and Oklahoma to start off the season right here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with head coach Jay Ladner.
Hey Lion fans, I'm Southeastern head basketball coach Jay Ladner. Join us as we usher in a new era of Lion basketball. For more information on season tickets, visit lionsports.net or call 549-LION. Always remember, line up.
Inside Southeastern Basketball with Jay Ladner is made possible by Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana. For over 30 years, Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana has been a premier landscape architect design company. Angelo's specializes in both commercial and residential work. Angelo's offers their clients a buildable and realistic solution with a focus on design, construction, and proper maintenance techniques. Owner Angelo DiStefano, Southeastern class of 1972, invites you to visit Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana at 13750 Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge or visit their website at angeloslawnscape.com. Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana, a proud supporter of Southeastern and Southeastern basketball.
Welcome back to Inside Southeastern Basketball with head coach Jay Ladner. The Lions took their show on the road for their opener as they battled Oklahoma State in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Here's the highlights. Well, Coach, your first real game of the season is on the road at Oklahoma State. A great setting for college basketball over there, taking on the Cowboys. Gallagher
Arena, 1938. It says as we went in there, one of the storied facilities. Coach Hank Iba, one of the great leaders of basketball in our country. And anyway, it was exciting for me personally to be there, being a junkie of basketball myself, to be able to play in that arena. And I thought it was a great experience for our players.
Well, Coach, let's talk about the game. You came out, you really started pretty well against Oklahoma State, battled these guys for most of the ball game, especially just a couple-point deficit at halftime against Oklahoma State. Talk about your first performance here.
Well, frankly, we were a little disappointed at halftime that we weren't ahead. We felt like that we had played well enough to be ahead. I thought our players did a good job, certainly didn't shy away from the atmosphere or from the opponent that we were playing. And we were right there at the half. And again, it felt like that we were playing well enough through the score that we should have been up maybe even in double figures, which could have possibly been a different outcome. They've got a great team, very talented players, some of the best guard play that we'll see all year.
Your team is certainly attacked as a great play there. Then they have the goaltending, so you get points on the board there.
It was good penetration by Cedric Jenkins and Brett Barclay, a freshman from Indiana, with the bucket right there, even though it was a basket interference.
Coach, you got in foul trouble a little bit early in this one as well with your big guys, so that made it a challenge as well.
Well, it does. I guess we not comment too much on officiating. As the game seemed to get a little bit deeper into the game, the calls became a little more curious. But that's life on the road. They've got an outstanding team. A lot of times we were so overmatched with size in there. They had 2 7-footers in there at times. You're seeing a young man, probably an All-American, LeBron Nash there, number 2. It was a hard player for us to handle out there on the 4 big forwards. So we've got to recruit bigger, stronger players here if we're going to compete at that level, and that's certainly our intent.
I think our fans can see, though, from watching these highlights against Oklahoma State, it doesn't matter who you're playing, your style is going to be your style. Stay up tempo and attack the basket the whole game.
Well, that's what we want to do. We certainly felt like that we again, the first half, anybody's ball game, but the game's 40 minutes, and size and depth kind of wore us down there in the second half. But I was very proud of our players, the way they came out and play. They came out to win, and that's the first thing in this process of building. We have to have that, establish that competitive spirit. And what I liked of the fact is they didn't back down off of Oklahoma State or Oklahoma for that matter.
Well, Coach, a tough assignment for your first one out there on the road at Oklahoma State. I know it was a great environment for college basketball and a great opener for your club.
Well, certainly one of the storied arenas and programs in college basketball, and to open, I guess, my initial Division I basketball game in that arena, I'm very appreciative of that and that great challenge. It certainly wasn't easy. We didn't take the easy way out. We're not going to ever take the easy way out here. But our players, and you can see by the way the game was started, and certainly the score there at halftime, our players look forward to the challenge. They embraced it, and that's the type of mentality we want to instill here at Southeastern.
Well, just a couple days later, the Lions would turn around and make the short trip over to Norman, Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. Here's those highlights. Coach, you turn around on a quick couple of day rest, and you make the short trip now from Oklahoma State over to Oklahoma, and just call it like it is. This one didn't start too well for your club.
Well, you're seeing right there a young man Hield who's another All-American, a second All-American that we faced for Oklahoma. He set a school record 7 for 7 threes, and as you saw, they weren't just wide open looks. We had Zay Jackson was hanging all over him right there when he made that shot. Big, strong forward, a great player, and like I said, probably headed to be a first-team All-American, certainly an NBA player.
Coach, I think one thing that jumps out as well is the character of your club. They got down pretty big early in this ball game, continued to fight, stood toe-to-toe with Oklahoma the rest of the way, and I know there's a lot of people out there that think Oklahoma can be a serious player on the national scene this year.
Well, certainly looking at reading some of the media reports from up there and their expectations, they expect to be a Final Four team, and them and Kansas are projected in the Big 12 as being the co-champions. And I felt like after those first 4 or 5 minutes, we got off to a slow start offensively. We were not playing that poorly. We really struggled to shoot the basketball, but once the ice kind of got broken, we went toe-to-toe with them in the second half, and that's what we want to do is try to emphasize the positive. I was very proud, showed no quit in them. Basically an even game there in the second half. I think they outscored us by 2 points, but we were really excited about that. And that's Hield again hitting another one of those long threes with guys in the face. Another highlight dunk, beautiful fast break there between Drew Guillory and big big Devontae Upson. I'm sorry, getting it going so fast here. Up had a really nice game. Up has played very well the first 2 games.
Coach, I know you're having a chance now to look back at some of the highlights, and I know you've broken down this film a little bit. What did you learn about your club here in this game against Oklahoma?
Well, I was proud of our battle. Again, very similar to Oklahoma State. We just, in our front line, just given up incredible size and strength. The physicality of those teams is very impressive. It's hard to probably tell as much on TV as right down there on the floor. I was proud of our battle. I was also proud of the fact that they didn't quit. We kept fighting, scrapping the whole game. And there were a couple of times in the second half Coach Kruger had to call timeout.
Coach, couldn't overcome the slow start against Oklahoma, a very good program they have over there in Norman under Coach Lon Kruger. Your team, after 2 games, you have 2 losses, but 2 very tough opponents to start the year.
Well, no question. And, basketball, where we are at Southeastern, we have to go play those type of ball games on the road. And it's certainly difficult and not great for your win-loss record, but we got to keep things in perspective. Our conference is a one-bid conference to the NCAA tournament, and what we have to do is usually keep things in perspective, try to get better, and I thought we did from game 1 to game 2. We need to do the same thing from game 2 to game 3 coming up against Western Illinois this week. But the fact is we're preparing for conference play, and our conference play is going to prepare us for that tournament. What we need to be doing is playing our best basketball when the Southland Conference tournament rolls around there in March.
So there's those highlights. Go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll have more right here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with head coach Jay Ladner.
Hi, I'm Yolanda Moore, head women's basketball coach here at Southeastern Louisiana University, and I want you to join us as we usher in a new era of Lady Lion basketball. For more information on season tickets, log on to www.lionsports.net, or you can call 549-LION. Lion up.
Inside Southeastern Basketball with Jay Ladner is made possible by Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana. For over 30 years, Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana has been a premier landscape architect design company. Angelo specializes in both commercial and residential work. Angelo's offers their clients a buildable and realistic solution with a focus on design, construction, and proper maintenance techniques. Owner Angelo DiStefano, Southeastern class of 1972, invites you to visit Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana at 13750 Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge, or visit their website at angeloslawnscape.com. Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana, a proud supporter of Southeastern and Southeastern basketball.
Welcome back to Inside Southeastern Basketball with head coach Jay Ladner. It's now time to take a look at our Lion basketball profile of the week. And this week we're going to profile Lion assistant coaches. Here's the story.
When Jay Ladner was hired as the 12th head coach in Lion basketball history, he had to put together a staff of assistant coaches. And in doing so, he went out to his old stomping grounds of Mississippi to hire Kyle Rohn. But with his other assistant, he stayed close to Hammond. Real close to Hammond, as he hired St. Thomas Aquinas head coach and Hammond resident Errol Goff.
The transition is, that's the number one question I guess I've been asked. And I won't say the transition has been easy, because it's been a lot for me to learn, and there's a lot for us as a staff to do. So we're all in it together. But where the transition has been good is, I thought for 19 years I enjoyed a heck of a family experience at St. Thomas Aquinas. That has been seamless in my transition to Southeastern Louisiana University as far as the family atmosphere.
Well, I've known Coach Ladner for a long time. Even when Coach Ladner was a player in high school, we've grown up in the same area of Mississippi. And one thing that I can say about Coach is, besides he's a great person, basketball-wise, what he is, he's a winner. I've seen him at every level as a player. And as a coach, he wins to the point of championships. I've seen him win state championships, seen him win national junior college championships. So I'm excited to be part of staff. We've always worked closely together.
Rohn comes to the Lions following 3 seasons as the head boys basketball coach at Petal High School in Mississippi. Prior to that, he'd spent 1 season as the head coach at his alma mater, Forest County Agricultural High School, leading it to the first round of the South State Tournament. Rohn's also coached at Southern Miss and Jacksonville State, and he's very happy to have landed in Hammond.
Number one, I think the school is great. The environment that we have, I think our city, our location is great. I mean, it's just a great combination. It's, to be honest with you, I think it's a hidden gem to a sense, but I don't think it's going to be hidden long. If you look at what our school did last year in the Southland Conference with 5 conference championships, I believe it's on the horizon. Great administration from the top down, and I think it's just on the cusp of exploding, and just excited to be here, a part of it.
Golf helped turn Hammond St. Thomas Aquinas High School into a 2A powerhouse, winning back-to-back state championships in 2007 and 2008. Since then, STA's enjoyed a semifinal appearance in the 2009 tournament, a regional round playoff appearance in 2010. They reached the quarterfinals in 2011 as well as 2014, and were semifinalists in 2012, and the Class 2A state runner-up in 2013. And while it was hard to leave his job at St. Thomas Aquinas, Goff knows that his Falcon family will move up the road with him.
The biggest thing about life is relationships. And a lot of the relationships here have just been like, I've been here for years, even though I've only been here for months. Some people have known me, and some I've never known in my life or met before have been so genuine in trying to help us as a staff get things done. And so I think from that's the most important thing. I think one of the things I was always concerned with leaving was all those relationships, and what I found out, I brought them with me, and I've picked up a bunch more. So my family has grown with this transition.
Former Winthrop great Tyson Waterman joins Roan and Goff on the men's basketball staff this year. Inducted into the Winthrop Athletics Hall of Fame back in 2007, Waterman led the Eagles to back-to-back Big South Conference titles and the school's first 2 trips to the NCAA championship tournament. Waterman served as the head boys basketball coach of Believe Prep Academy in Rock Hill, South Carolina from 2010 to 2014.
Coach, I know from just talking to you off the air, you are thrilled with the coaching staff you put together here at Southeastern.
I couldn't have been, I can't be any happier. All of them have just done such a wonderful job. And I don't know if people, and I'm probably not just talking about basketball here, but in all sports, how hard those assistant coaches work. And no head coach will never be any stronger than our staff. And I tell our guys that, and I'm so thankful to Coach Roan and Coach Waterman, Coach Goff, obviously, and our operations director, Coach Mark Beeson, for the job that they do. I feel very indebted.
Coach, we want to take this opportunity on our first show here to let our fans know, let Lion basketball fans know about some changes that have taken place this year for the basketball program. First of all, with the Hardwood Club. I know you really want to get that Hardwood Club membership up, and this year, before home games, there's actually going to be a meal every game, an hour before tip-off. Come in, and the coaches are going to come in there and meet with those guys. I know that's something you're very excited about.
Oh, it's unbelievable, the reception, and we've already doubled our number of Hardwood Club memberships and still growing by the day that I'm being told. And yes, one of the things that we wanted to do was have a meal there 1 hour prior to tip-off of all Lion home games, whether it be exhibition games or regular season games. Our Hardwood Club room, which is room 125 here in the arena, you can go there and there'll be a catered meal. That comes with your membership dues to the Hardwood Club, which are very reasonable, $150. You certainly can give more money if you would like, but a minimum of $150, and you can go in there and eat prior to every game. Again, 1 hour. Coaching staff will come in. We'll generally make an appearance in there, or I will, as our teams come to warm up. So about the 35 or 40 minute mark prior to tip-off, we'll go in there and we'll talk a little bit about tonight's opponent.
People always ask me, how do you get involved with Southeastern Athletics? I'll tell you, if you want to be involved with Southeastern basketball, join the Hardwood Club and buy season tickets to come out and watch your Lions play. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with head coach Jay Ladner.
Hey Lion fans, I'm Southeastern head basketball coach Jay Ladner. Join us as we usher in a new era of Lion basketball. For more information on season tickets, visit lionsports.net or call 549-LION. Always remember, line up.
Inside Southeastern Basketball with Jay Ladner is made possible by Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana. For over 30 years, Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana has been a premier landscape architect design company. Angelo's specializes in both commercial and residential work. Angelo's offers their clients a buildable and realistic solution with a focus on design, construction, and proper maintenance techniques. Owner Angelo DiStefano, Southeastern class of 1972, invites you to visit Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana at 13750 Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge, or visit their website at angeloslawnscape.com. Angelo's Lawnscape of Louisiana, a proud supporter of Southeastern and Southeastern basketball.
Welcome back to our final segment here on Inside Southeastern Basketball with Coach Jay Ladner. And, Coach, we're going to preview your opponents now coming up as this Saturday you'll be on the road once again to take on Western Illinois. Monday you'll play Tennessee Tech, and then turn around on Wednesday and play your first home game November the 26th right here in the UC against Tennessee Tech again.
Well, you know, certainly life on the road at our level. You know, we'll another long road trip in front of us, and but we're looking forward to it. Again, I think, to be frank with you, where we are in our program, to go on the road, it gives us a chance to really just focus on ourselves. You know, we're all together for a long period of time, and I think it's actually a great time. If I could choose it, whether we would be at home at this time or away, I would probably say be away, because this is part of a building process. Western Illinois and Tennessee Tech, both outstanding programs. We'll go to Macomb, Illinois, as you said, for Saturday's ball game, bus down to Cookeville, Tennessee, to play Tennessee Tech. OVC member right there, certainly another quality opponent on our schedule, which we have a tremendous non-conference schedule, and Western Illinois and Tennessee Tech are two fine opponents, that's for sure. We'll have to be ready to play to be able to be competitive with them. And
then a unique situation as they will return the trip just real quick and come down here and play on Wednesday, and that's your home opener. I know we're encouraging our fans, come on out and watch this brand of Lion basketball, but it's kind of unique. You get to play them on Monday and then play them again on Wednesday.
It's a very odd situation. You don't see that too much. That's part of our tournament that we're playing along with Tulane, and to have that happen. In fact, we were making our travel arrangements. The coach from Tennessee Tech said, well, we might as well just get on the bus with y'all after the game and drive down there. We're all coming the same way because they're part of the same tournament that we're playing at Tulane. So anyway, that'll be a unique experience. We'll play them, and win or lose, have to turn around and get ready to play them again. I would assume by the night here, both teams will have figured each of the opponents out.
Well, there you have it. Our first show is in the book. So just a reminder, you can follow your Lions as always at lionsports.net. Make sure you join that Hardwood Club and also get you some season tickets to come on out and watch Southeastern basketball. That's going to do it for us. For Coach Jay Ladner, I'm Alan Waddell. We will see you next week.